that make you yawn? If it did, don't worry, you ain't alone. Yawning is actually one of the most contagious behaviors in all humans. But why do we yawn in the first place? And why does it spread like catching a flu? Well, let's find out. Reflex seen in many humans and animals. It involves a very deep inhalation and stretching of our jaw and face muscles. This has been shown to briefly increase in alertness and circulation, as well as firing up the brain, especially in the morning or when you are tired. Although scientists still debate its exact purpose. However, we do have a couple of theories. So here's a couple. First one is brain cooling. When we yawn, we regulate our brain temperature by drawing in cool air through our mouths. Studies show that we actually yawn more in warmer environments. That way we can cool our brain down and keep it at its peak functionality. The second theory is state change hypothesis. It acts as a reset button for the brain and transitions like sleep, walking, or boredom. So when you wake up, you yawn. Before you go to bed, you yawn. It's the transition areas in our life. And the final one is social communication. Yawning itself actually signals tiredness or readiness, synchronized in a group behavior. It actually goes way back, and that's why it's a primitive instinct, is because humans actually used it to identify whether we were tired or ready. Due to its primitive nature and kind of signaling the idea of tiredness to an entire pack, it needs to be contagious. At least this is a theory. Supposedly, seeing, hearing, or even thinking about yawning can actually trigger it. 40 to 60% of people actually yawn when exposed to another yawn. Did that make you yawn? We also have mirror neurons in our brain, which when we see other people do something and we do it, it links to a source of empathy, and so we end up following and it ends up being contagious. Especially because our brains actually mimic others, especially in close relationships. This is known as a group synchronization, and it keeps social groups aligned. It's as seen in humans, chimps, wolves, dogs, and even fish. Now, like the flu, the yawn can be technically caught. Children under 4 don't usually experience a contagious yawning because their body clock and their ideas aren't fully developed, so they don't need to have that kind of herd and tribal primitive mentality. Studies do show that there's actually a stronger effect on this contagious aspect within families and friends because they are closer and spend more time with each other, as well as they have a much higher empathy. So why is yawning contagious? Well, as we found out, we don't actually know. Well, research suggests brain cooling, state changes, and most importantly, empathy and bonding. The real question is, however, how many times did you yawn during this video? Send this to a friend and see if they yawn too. Also, let me know what you'd like to see next. Peace.